Hey guys, so sorry for this being delayed. Number one, I was gone watching the Super Bowl. Fuck the Chiefs, but whatever. It was fun to hang out with friends and shit. But I'm gonna try something different this week. Gotta work late, so this is gonna be a different format by environment. It's gonna be a really fast video. I'm gonna try and like Boomer from NFL, how he did NFL in 1 minute or whatever it was called. I'm not gonna do my report in 1 minute, but I'm gonna go faster than usual, see how it vibes. Maybe I'll take some stuff from it and use it in the future. But all right, on to the show. We are starting off with some news. As everybody knows, trade deadline, huge. There was a lot of deals done in this week before the trade deadline. I'm only gonna go over the ones I find notable, starting out with the Sixers. All these Sixers fans. You guys got Buddy Hield for Ferk, who's finally free, that bum. It was, you know what? I didn't even know this. I'm looking at this live. It was a 3-team trade, actually. Sixers get Buddy Hield, Pacers get Ferk and Doug McDermott, 2 second-round picks and cash considerations from the Sixers. And the Spurs get Marcus Morris, a 2029 second-round pick and cash considerations. Pretty big deal for the Sixers. It's already paying dividends. You got rid of Ferk, which is awesome. Moving on, the Mavs added another guy, which I quite don't understand. It was PJ Washington and 2 second-round picks going to the Mavs for Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a 2027 first-round pick from the Hornets. Looking at this face value, doesn't look that strong. PJ Washington is I don't even call it streaky. He has one good game every maybe 2 weeks. I don't quite understand. Maybe, new environment, he'll blossom. I have seen reports about Grant Williams just absolutely being annoying. Like, there's videos of him on the bench, like, with his phone, and Kyrie's just looking at him like, what the fuck, bro? But maybe that was part of it. You hate to see Seth Curry go, but honestly, a rare dub by the Hornets. The other one was Gordon Hayward going to the Thunder. Absolutely interesting, and might be massive for the Thunder. Many fans wanted them to get a big man, which they got Biyombo later from waivers, but they got Gordon for Trey Man, Davis Bertans, and Vasilis Misic. Sorry, cannot pronounce that name. And 2 second-round picks. I'll be better at pronouncing your name in the future, Vasily. But Bertans had an awful contract. Pretty good for the Thunder. And the last trade I want to go over is Alec Burks and Bogdanovic getting traded from the Pistons to the Knicks for Evan Fournier, Malachi Flynn, Quentin Grimes, my boy Ryan Arcidiacono. Yeah, Arcidiacono. I'm sorry. I thought I could pronounce your name. Maybe you aren't as much of a boy as I thought. As my boy as I thought. They also got 2 future seconds and cash considerations. Absolutely huge. That adds so much depth to the Knicks, especially in a time when they needed it with Randall going out and for playoffs coming up. Be interesting to see come playoff time. Moving on, sad news. Jimmy Butler had a family member pass away over this week. Absolutely terrible. Thoughts and prayers out to him. What a beast of a player. Former Sixer, former Bull. All of us love him. Sending out thoughts and prayers. But it did impact the week. So we'll get into that now with the scores. Starting out with Will versus Webb. Pack nicely lost by 80 points this week. Webb Warrior had 5 top picks. Absolute good showing by him, going up to 5-11 and 4-12 for Will. Next up, we got Teo versus not Teo versus Sherm. Teo versus Team Lobster. That's a first for me, confusing the Noahs. But again, Team Lobster absolutely throwing away their season, tanking for draft picks in I would say a barren draft class, but who knows. Teo won by over 100 points this week. Good for him. He goes up to 5-11. Team Lobster down to 3-13. As I was saying in the previous weekly report, we're going to see an interview from Team Lobster's owner, Noah Lapid, next week. So be excited. Active Insight is coming back, and don't forget to send in questions if you have any. Moving on, Riley versus Sylv, an absolute throw by the Codfather. Could have been the Fraggle Rock 9's first loss of the season. This might have been his lowest points scored by a team this season for Fraggle Rock 9. With 5 worst picks, you just gotta win this week. You gotta. If all your players are playing well, LaMelo Ball was out for Silv, but you hate to see it. Moving on, the Void played the Mog Squad in an absolute turn of events. With Jimmy Butler being out with the last game, it went to his best game of the week, giving the Void the win by 7 points. Absolutely wild. The Void and all of its fans thought hope was lost, and in a turn of events, we take the dub, tying our records at 9-7. We had 4 worst picks. The Mog Squad also had 3 worst picks, so it was really a toss-up. Moving on to a pretty interesting game this week. Team Yarm versus I Could Go For A Beer. I Could Go For A Beer handled it pretty nicely. Winning by 37 is pretty nice and pretty comfortable. Without Embiid, there wasn't really much competition. Moving on, we got Team Belushio versus Team Zomt, and it is Team Zomt falling and Team Belushio ending their losing streak with 4 top picks. This is also Team Zomt's first time under 200 points scored in a bit now. Absolutely interesting for the standings and for this upcoming week. Team Belushio might be back into the fold with Evan Mobley and Darius Garland coming back to form. And then our final matchup of the week, Steve-O played Team Sherm in an absolute close game. Steve-O had 6 top picks, most out of any team this week, but it wasn't enough against Sherm, who had a player also injured at the end of the week that gave them the dub. Absolutely rocks the standings and puts Team Belushio in a good spot. 11-5, Sherm is moving from the pack. Now, moving on to our free agents of the week. We got Chris Dunn, we got Gigi Jackson, and we got Corey Crispert. Might have said his name wrong. I know it's Crispert. Wizards are a sham. Who cares? They got absolutely bossed by the Sixers this past weekend. Now, moving on to the best players of the week. We got Brandon Ingram for Steve-O against the Toronto Raptors. Put up 41 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, a block, and a steal. And finally, a good plus-minus 37. Putting up 48.25 fantasy points isn't the best in terms of previous weeks, but it is the top scorer of the week. Now, on to our next best player. We got Jalen Duren for Team Belushio, giving him that dub over Team Zom against the Portland Trailblazers with 27 points, an assist, and 22 rebounds. Holy shit. With 0 blocks, 0 steals, nothing to add there, which is pretty impressive that he ended up with 45.25 fantasy points. Those rebounds really helped him there. We might see a change in that in the future. Now, moving on to the standings. Here's our top 8. With the Fraggle Rock 9 still in the lead, 16-0, they're bossing it up. After that, we got Team Zomp finally losing, 12-4. They still have second, but they're getting caught up to with Sherm right behind them at 11-5 on a 2-game win streak, only a game behind. Points differential is not looking good, 500 behind in the points for, but who knows? There's still 4 games left in the season. I Could Go For A Beer moves up 2 positions to 10-6 by themselves with that record. Also on a 2-game win streak. Love to see that. Now at 5th place, we got the Mog Squad falling to the Void. Now at 9-7, they still have the points for, giving them the position over the Void, who's also at 9-7, but with a 3-game win streak. And below that, the Void did bump up a position because Team Army Jr. went down 2 positions. Now on a 3-game losing streak. Sorry, trying to go fast. On a losing streak, 9-7. You just you hate to see it. No Embiid, no chances really against some of these top teams. And now in 8th place, we got Steve-O. Now at 8-8, holding up the rear. Now with that loss last week, they are in contention of falling out of playoffs. But we'll see. They still hold a game as we move on to the bottom 6. The bottom 6 with Team Belushio with, honestly, only the real chance of trying to get into the playoff spot with only 1 game behind Steve-O. At 7-9, they're looking prime, and they could enter. Their points for is really low, though, so that might be a hindrance if they do end up in some tiebreakers. Now at 10th and 11th, we have 5-11 teams. That's Lecanto Embers and Team Web Warrior. both teams, shining towards the end of the season. You just wish, that sparkle could have been at the beginning. Web Warrior moved up one position because the Codfather lost this week in an embarrassing loss to the Fraggle Rock 9. At 4-12, again, not looking too good. With a draft class, a draft coming their way, they're looking at the third draft pick. Moving on to 13, also at 4-12 with a 4-game losing streak, packed nicely is, he's doing his thing. Also losing, putting up nearly 150 points each week. It's kind of interesting. I haven't seen anybody, be as consistent as that. And finally, we got Team Lobster absolutely tanking this season. Now on a 10-game losing streak. No hope is for them as, they are bottom of the league. But we'll see if that bottom mixes up because we still have 4 games left. Now looking up to the next matchups of the week, we do have Team Belushio playing the Void. In a not a must win, but a really good win if they do for Team Belushio at at 7-9 versus the Void at 9-7. That kind of looks like a must. Under that, we got Lecanto Embers playing Stevo, which they are now favored by 63% to 37%. Absolutely electric. The Fraggle Rock 9 plays Team Sherm, and it's 55% Fraggle Rock 9's way, but ties could change. It's not looking good for the Fraggle Rock 9 coming to the end of the season. Moving on to the last interesting game really of the week. We got the Codfather playing I Could Go For a Beer, and the Codfather came for names. He's projected to win with a 67% chance to win. Absolutely bossing it out with his guys, and that moves us on to the end. Actually, instead of our video of the week, before we go into the final notes, an interesting stat, if you look at the top 25 players in the league with their the stat being their career win percentage, Kawhi Leonard is at number 1 by a solid margin, by at least 10%. Kawhi Leonard has a over 73% win percentage. Absolutely insane. I saw that the other day and I was kind of shocked, but it makes sense. You go in a Popovich system in their prime with Tim Duncan and all those great players, Manu, and then you just keep bossing after that from, the Raptors to now the Clippers, who are just, insane. And load management might have helped, but I don't want to say anything. But all right, into the final notes. All right, thank you guys for watching today's video. I'm sorry if it felt rushed. I'm sorry if I missed anything. Pretty interesting week. I might go through the scores like that again. I kind of liked it. Kind of had me spitting. Also, probably not as many ums in the video. So maybe that's the wave. But just want to thank you all for participating. No more rebrands this week, but maybe we'll see some next week. I just want to inform y'all there is a research team actually going through the Badger Fantasy Association and looking at some interesting stats. Maybe we'll see that next week or the week after, but we'll have to wait and see. And finally, as I want to remind y'all, we have a interview with Team Lobster's owner, who's at the bottom of the league. I need your questions. I want to roast him. I want to grill him. You just hate to see a team tanking this badly with little to no future in sight. But that's just me saying something. I'll see y'all next week. Keep it real. Keep it 100. And let's see some good basketball, yeah? Oh, also, fuck the Bulls. They haven't made a fucking in-season trade in over 1,000 days. What the fuck? All right. Peace. Meow.